Okay, so we pulled the prosciutto off the griddle, and then we took a trip to South Texas, just a couple months ago, and we got to meet an awesome guy named Adam Thompson with Thompson Farms. He has the sweetest goats you have ever met in your life, and he has some really good goat cheese. Take a look.
Just basically, a few years ago, we decided we were going to start, me and my wife, we were going to start, doing a healthier lifestyle and trying to, shop farmers markets. And, our kids were real young, at that point, so we wanted them to kind of experience the life of a farm, and just, dealing with their own animals and raising their own food a little bit. Ran into a guy that had some goats locally and tried a warm glass of goat's milk, and ended up buying a couple goats, after we had sourced milk for him for a while, just to have our own source of milk. And really liked the goats and the personality, and decided to kind of start doing a business of it, and just slowly started buying equipment and trying to resource things, where they were a little more affordable. And eventually decided we were going to do, an aged raw goat's milk cheese. I have right at 84 goats, counting my bucks. Probably got about 50 to 60 prime milkers, and then some adolescents, and then about $5. This is the aging room over here where we're keeping all our cheeses that age. Everything in there at least 2 months. There's some Parmesans in there that have been in there for about 5 months. And
goat Parmesan?
Goat, yeah, raw goat's milk Parmesans. And they'll be in there for another at least 10 months before we really want to pull those out. And usually at least 12 to 14 months on a Parmesan is the minimum age you want to do.
For raw goat, okay, yeah, so I've never had.
Well, it's not regulation for that. For the regulation, the raw milk has to be aged at least 2. But for Parmesan, you have to age at least 12, 14 months. It's just a super hard cheese, and the protein crystals start to form in there, and that's what really gives it that real strong flavor. But the milk basically comes in here, and then we bring the milk to this cheese vat. Now, this was just recently used to make a batch of mozzarella. So this is actually a 1951 Army steam kettle. It's still stamped. We refitted it with sanitary ends, and we pipe hot water through here, through the vat, to heat it up and cool it down. And it's probably still got whey in it. We just made cheese in there, so this is all goat's cheese. This is a brie, a feta, a Gouda style cheese. But what about the goat's cheese? And it's very common to have the fresh chev, and that's goat cheese. And in America, goat cheese is just that one type of cheese. But it takes people a minute to kind of figure out that it's still a goat's milk cheese, and in fact it's a raw milk cheese, which is even better, healthier, more probiotics. So we've got a really good response from the cheese. I mean, we get a lot of people from Europe, and it's very common, to have goat's milk cheeses everywhere.
Love the goats.
I love the cheese. You love the goats. I know you're looking for a pet.
I'm just going to tell you, there's nothing like pulling up to a farm and getting greeted by 50 to 100 goats who just want to be loved. They just need love.
And I just need their milk to make cheese with. So we've got some of his Gouda cheese. Like, what I love about that place are all these different styles that you wouldn't think of for goat cheese, and it doesn't taste like. If you don't think you like goat cheese, try his cheeses because they're incredible.
Cheese, yeah, they have all different flavors, and he's so good and meticulous about his product.
Okay, these are those little cheese medallions that I was telling you about that we're gonna have them get crunchy on the outside.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Parmesan crisp before?
Yeah.
Right? So
I make them.
It's gonna be like that on the outside, but melted cheese in the center. All right, so I'm just making these little medallions. The onions and peppers are caramelizing. This last one's gonna be
jalapenos.
a petite one, jalapenos.
Yeah, that's a little baby one.
All right, so once I start to get a sear, I just work my way underneath the cheese. Okay, so now it's loosened up. Flip it. Look how that top's all crunchy, but the center's all melted.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one, the top came off, but let me show you how we can fix that. I'm still gonna flip it, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna take the top that just came off.
You're gonna put it back on there.
Because that cheese is all melted. I'm just gonna put it right back on.
No top will be left behind. Okay, there you go. You got that one.
For these 5.
Kind of reminds me of those goat cheese pecan crusted medallions you made one time.
Right, but this time it's just the cheese that's searing. So it's starting to smell really good. We're also gonna marinate. I just took, when I'm cooking like beef tenderloin or sirloin or strip, some of the end pieces, and because they're small pieces, they're a little bit tougher. I am gonna do a quick marinade with some soy sauce or tamari, a little bit of cherry Texas balsamic. That's gonna add some sweet.
Yum.
Some what's this here sauce, one of my favorites.
That's Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, and then a little bit of Texas hot sauce. Let that sit for about 5 minutes. We're gonna toss that on the griddle, and we're gonna pull a lot of this stuff together for some really delicious bites.
We're cooking now. We gotta take another break. Come right back.